Fuck. Yeah. Huh. All right. Got to turn a mistake into the art. It wasn't a mistake, really. It was just a weak part of the wood. Yeah, it would be beautiful. All that is a broken heart right there. You know. This is hot. Okay. This is culture. Okay. Look, this carving is the culture of Ouroboros. It's just a mirror of it. Pardon me. It's a reflection of it, right? Right. It's just my rendition of the Ouroboros culture. And see, this one over here is the tight next totem that's turned upside down with EROS up top. What a surprise. Right? Right. So, okay. Man, do I love carving wood. It's weird. Yeah, a day that I'm free to carve wood and healthy enough to carve wood, because I'm not always strong enough to carve wood. I mean, there have been times like I used to get really bad knee injuries from playing a lot of soccer and whatever, running. But now my body's really strong and flexible for carving. And I love doing it. It's like frees my mind. It helps me to see things clearly. I solve all the world's problems while carving. And particularly when I'm starting to do this, which is educating about blockchain technology and crypto investments, and it's education truly, because I'm learning as I go, right? And I'm sharing coffee. I'm sharing it as I go. And I've been thinking a lot about culture, and how it really is critical to sustained success of any enterprise. And by enterprise, I'm not talking just business and not just crypto, any community, any family, any individual. We all have what we humans call culture. You know, part of the reason why I started carving wood was partially just because I was always attracted to totemic artistry, like totem poles and, carvings. I was always interested in it just naturally, but part of it is I use carving and totemic art to explore different cultures and to learn about different ways of operating, whether or not it's like cultures on the planet, in a cultures in a city, cultures in a community, cultures in uh, a enterprise, a business, culture in decentralized finance, right? So the thing about culture is there's some indicators. There are external indicators and internal indicators. So totems historically and traditionally were family and clan and culture markers. They were physical sacred objects that both demonstrated the the external culture, the indicators of the internal culture, things like people from this area of the planet have traditional animal totems, and they're, so bear is a local animal totem. There's a fish, like a sea bass, but a fish that's a local totem. There are, oh man, I'm blocking. There's like 4 or 5 local animal. And so the point is that totemic traditions basically reflected what we modern humans call culture, which is the external indicators and then the internal, like the external is like the brand, right? It's what it looks like. It's the design. It's the first layer of the culture. And it's designed to either repel you if the culture is a toxic culture. The external indicators will have like a toxic signal on it and say back the fuck up, right? Or if it's a welcoming culture, it'll have like a bridge that welcomes you into, right? And so the totems represent the external manifestation of the culture and the internal. The internal are things that a people or a business or an enterprise or a DAO hold sacred. The things that are critically important. It's when people talk about ethos, that's principles at the core of a culture. And what happens in cultures when they get divided and conflicted, it's a symptom. It's a symptom, which is why, as someone that sort of carves culture and studied cultures and like have been in freaking lots of cultures, mostly as an outsider, just observing and listening and carving and, learning new languages and customs and being, a humble visitor to a culture, right? What happens, so culture trumps strategy always, over and over again. Culture trumps math. See Kobe back there? Kobe. Oh no, that's Hunka. His feet are sensitive now. He's the ultimate alpha. Hunka is. Hunka. This is Kobe. Kobe's the hunter. He's killer Kobe. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, culture trumps strategy, and culture trumps math, and culture trumps protocol, and culture trumps even blockchain. Because a killer tech blockchain without a culture that encourages adoption is a ghost chain, right? So it's the culture. Hey, Kobe. My puppy wants me to play. I've been carving for a while, and yeah, I've been up for hours, and I'm free today, so I'm like, I'm free. That doesn't mean I'm not working or I'm not playing, but I'm free to do what I please, except to later hang out with my son and my pups and my girlfriend a little bit. So okay, I get distracted. What was I talking about? Culture. Yeah, you see where my mind goes. Like, oh boy. What was I thinking? Oh, right. What happens is, like, cultures get divided and conflicted when there's stress in the ecosystem. Stress is either hormetic stress, which is the stress that makes us stronger. So stress testing and different kinds of martial practices and other stress tests for people and enterprises it's called hormetic stress. And hormetic stress makes the organism stronger, right? We learn from the stress, we utilize the stress, we transmute the stress into energy, into creativity, into innovation, which is why I know from experience we have to learn to use the division and the conflict in the culture. Most people are afraid of it. For whatever reason, I have no fear of the culture-based conflict or any of the conflicts. It's why I was always good in war zones and in prisons and in corporate boardrooms and any place where there was conflict. I'm very comfortable for some reason, right? It's not that I don't have any fears in conflict. I do. I just put them on the tip of my sword naturally, and I sort of I don't live with fear of culture-based conflict, right? I'm just comfortable with it. And so because of that, I ended up making a living out of it, right? And so because of that, I got to get trained in conflict and culture and how we identify divided and conflicted cultures, and how do we identify the cultures that are abundant and growth oriented and are just set up for short, medium, and long-term success, right? And when a culture, in this case, crypto projects and ecosystems, when they get divided and conflicted and it leads to retreat, when people start retreating and going into private groups and going into their comfort zones of I'm deving, I'm building, when people pull back It's not good. It's a symptom of weakness in the culture and weakness in the humans that are the culture. So culture, if it's an individual culture like my culture, or a family culture, or a clan culture, or an extended friend family culture, like it's always a reflection of the humans in it. And so in decentralized finance, for example, that's why it's important. Who who's the holder base? Who owns coins? Who's influencing? How many people? What's the culture? How do we know? Right? And so I've seen dozens of high potential tech math protocol projects, dozens, I mean hundreds. I've seen them crash and burn and never recover, even in bull cycles, when the culture gets divided and conflicted. Everyone says, "Oh, green candles, solve everything." No, they don't. They make people feel better in the short term, but what happens is unless the what's going on at the heart of the division and unless that's addressed, it tends to reinforce belief systems. And word of mouth about culture is the thing that spreads like wildfire. It spreads when you got this crazy hot positive culture, which is PTGC, which is ORX, which is EROS, which is pDAI. As divided and conflicted as pDAI is, watch how the culture just sort of unifies, okay, around a theme. Watch pDAI. That's going to be an interesting one because that's been so crazy volatile and so divided and conflicted, and everyone is disagreeing about it. Same thing with Bear. If anyone's been following, the Atropa ecosystem and pDAI and how it got drained of capital and how it was the subject of FUD storms and allegations and divided and conflicted, right? So, so a few of the cultures that, or I'm going to focus on two of them, PTGC and ORX, which are like very different protocols. One is on Ethereum, one is on Pulse Chain, but they're very similar in certain ways. And so I want to talk about them. I also want to talk about the emerging culture of EROS. And the thing is that the culture always has external manifestation. It's the brand, it's the design, it's how people talk about it, it's blah, blah, blah. It's whatever it is that is the external stuff. And then the hidden stuff in the culture, some of it is code, some of it is security measures, some of it is how people talk to each other in the owner investor group. Some of it is hostility, whale hostility. Some of it is, all kinds of things go into a culture, right? And so what I look for, even in decentralized finance, if we're talking about enterprises, which assets are, which protocols are, which ecosystems are, they're enterprises. We put economic energy into them, and either that economic energy and this economic energy and capital, either it grows or it shrinks. And sometimes it goes up and down, but the chart is a good indicator. Right? We see when charts, especially in crypto, are healthy, and we see when they're not healthy. When they're new, sometimes it's hard to see what's healthy and what's not. So we'll see with a lot of new projects, we'll see the ones that can, everyone says, oh, everything's going to do well when the bull cycle happens. No, not everything will do well, just like not everything has done well over the last 2 years. Certain projects have outperformed all the other ones. PTGC, culture, rules, strategy, and math, always. The math is good in it's great in PTGC. The strategy is amazing. They've outperformed, though, because from day one, the top leader, the developer, the builder, the community leader who has really convened around him a very healthy culture. It's got the alien tech brand and UFO brand. I mean, it's amazing, right? Especially given aliens and like tech and UFOs, it's beautiful, right? So the meme quality of the culture is hot, right? And then you combine that when a top leader, and this is the critical indicator that I look for, and sometimes I forget it, and sometimes I get fooled based on my inexperience or the inexperience of the founder. And I project something onto the founder and the builder that maybe they don't have yet. That's on me, as I need to know better. But PTGC, so when I look for in terms of the culture, it starts with the founder or the founding team. Always in startup, like always. It's the founder. And in crypto, that means when we have a founder developer who also is a software engineer and Solidity, if it's Ethereum, developer who understands smart contracts and codes, like that's the culture. It's defined by the founder and the core developer that builds the culture, you know, the math and the strategy and the and everything into the smart contracts, and then into the community of investors and people who use the protocol, right? So PTGC is I think is a great example of outperforming the market, partially because of the math and the strategy. But that math and strategy without the top leader, the dev, like constantly being in the trenches with his investor group, constantly communicating, up market, down market, it doesn't matter. The message is the same, except it evolves how the market evolves. So PTGC, the culture and the strategy and the math is a blue chip in the making, in my humble opinion. The next one, where culture rules strategy always, is Ouroboros, right? And this carving, I love this carving. I'm gonna go get it. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So hold on. This is not the best part. Let's see. I want to get at least one. Oh yeah, this is a good one right here. This is a good. Check this out. This piece of the carving is a big part of the genius of the Ouroboros culture. Right there. And right here. Hold on. It's heavy. It's up here. It's right there. Okay, see this? That and this whole thing. That's what I call, yeah, that's the Ouroboros totem. And it's got both the brand, it's not finished because the brand of Ouroboros is, I forgot the name of the design of the color theme, that Ouroboros is built around. And that's part of the reason why I love being part of the Ouroboros culture and protocol, is because I get to be in a dialogue. Remember I said the PTGC founder and the top leader who's also a dev and is the business leader and the tech leader unified? That's the secret sauce of like early stage potential blue chips. And Ouroboros and PTGC share that, is that there's a top leader who's the business person, but also is the technologist and has built the idea, has invented it. They're the inventor, and they've coded the contracts and the whole ecosystems. I mean, and just like the PTGC, the Gray's Currency founder is every day since launch. I remember when they launched. I remember when they showed up on X. I was like, oh, aliens, right? And I've always admired him because I know his voice now. He's a non, but I know his voice and is solid and grounded. And the Ouroboros developer, Super Shadowy, I know his voice through writing and through code and through interaction with test nets and through mainnet, right? So he's also a non. And so, right, it's not a surprise that two of the, in my opinion, most solid, present, available founders are also a non in their own way. And Ouroboros, like that culture that I just showed you, that totem, what it's gonna be. I mean, that I'm finishing it this. I'm gonna finish it this summer because Ouroboros is about to extend beyond the Titan X incubator, which has been amazing for Ouroboros. Like Titan X is and Dragon X are the first collateral assets. Like Titan X and Ouroboros have had an incredible collaboration, right? I wouldn't be here with Ouroboros but for Titan X, right? And so that's why I appreciate, the presence of both Titan X and Ouroboros. Have really given me the opportunity to get what I really wanted, which was the culture of collaboration, the culture of consistent communication, the culture of we're in this together and we're going to fight for our bags, the culture of, and this is, I'm talking about Ouroboros, the culture of quiet brilliance, the culture of like a fee sharing, investor and user-centric design and ethos, and that has more integrity and more authenticity than any project I've ever been a part of, by far. And that's not hyperbolic or hyperbole. It's not. It's real. It's true. It's my belief. It's my experience. And I've been, in crypto since 2016. It's not like I'm the best at it or I know so much. I don't. I'm constantly learning though, and I really am curious. And when I carve, I think about it, and so I started carving some of these totemic pieces of wood for crypto projects that I like, that I want to elevate, right? So the Ouroboros culture right now is so strong. It's unified, it's educating, it's fun. The design is about, like, the external brand is about to get a facelift, which I love. I love the design ethos, right? The product suite is about to expand. So the culture of Ouroboros is collaboration and business focus on the one asset, ORX, and the one protocol, Ouroboros, which includes USDX and the whole stablecoin as service possibility, right? So the culture is just this incredible mix. So again, like if Shadowy hadn't built the collaborative, interactive culture that has engaged a lot of people and is about to scale. Like it's still very small, but it's an amazing holder group. This is like 650 holders or something, right? I mean, but really strong, really collaborative, really communicative. And what it does, the thing about the culture in any enterprise is it always reflects the top leader, unless we've totally gone permissionless, which is why I like EROS culture. It's permissionless. I'm not asking permission. But until we go fully permissionless, which for certain protocols I like and others I don't. For a protocol like Ouroboros, I want management controls. I want Shadowy in charge. I want him out making deals. I want him being as anon as he wants, assuming it's a he. Because I don't know, and it doesn't matter. What matters is a few things. His brilliance in his design of this protocol, his experience, his ability to communicate in a very divided and conflicted ecosystem and marketplace, like communicates like a serious adult, a non-reactive, not that he doesn't react or she doesn't react. The point is that it's a continuous dialogue, open to input, that also is about to, or is in the process of, the culture is transitioning over time from the founder-centric requirement of a startup to a more decentralized governance model, right? Part of the reason that I like the culture of Ouroboros is because, yes, it's fee sharing, and that's huge. When a protocol and a developer designs in like fee sharing strategies and principles to everything, that's amazing. That's so rare. It's so rare. It's where actions are more important than words. Like the words that we hear developers say are more like the brand. They tend to be the marketing message. You've got to get into private, either Telegram or Discord or private conversations in order to really understand the real culture, right? And so part of the reason why I love the culture and why the Ouroboros culture is outperforming every other, and this is not like a competition with other protocols, it's just facts, right? It has outperformed in its ratio with Titan-X for a long time. And we'll see what happens. I'm not saying it's gonna always be that way, but for my Titan-X it's really given me a win, right? And so the culture also is a winning culture, right? When people feel like, ooh, I've done well, that's a winning culture. It's not .win that turns, like .win is part of the brand. Not every .win is a winner. We're gonna have to accept this, right? That culture rules and dominates strategy, math, and almost everything. Because Ouroboros technology, without the Ouroboros leader culture and now community culture, like is way weaker, doesn't outperform, doesn't like do what Ouroboros has done so far, and in my opinion is about to do, which is to dominate um, a new sector of decentralized finance, which is multi-collateral backed stablecoins. That's the culture. So the culture is everything on the inside, the principles, the values, the code, the math, the people, the holder group, the everything, the marketing strategy, everything. And that's why it trumps strategy, because strategy is part of the culture, right? It trumps math because math is part of the culture. And the culture, except in the fully permissionless, fully no admin keys, fully no management functions by humans, and we'll talk about EROS next, right? Because that's an example of permissionless. I don't ask permission of anybody to do that project, and that's why I'm doing it, right? And that's the power of the culture. You'll see. So, all right, 38 minutes, 39 minutes. Okay, I can do this for up for an hour. And then I have to, very important business carving to do. I'm carving a new world, by the way. I'm right now, okay, so I'm carving Ouroboros. I'm carving the Titanx totem. Like, part of the reason why I'm doing this is because Titanx needs love. Like when I go to Pulse Chain, or when I go to Sonic, or when I go to Base, people, like, especially on Pulse Chain, have a lot of vitriolic feelings, emotions about Titanx. And I'm like, get over it, right? There's a lot of those emotions on Ethereum too, among Titanx. I'm like, get over it. So Titanx just, as an asset, not as a culture, because it's proven itself not to be diamond hands. It's okay. It's like, it is what it is. It hasn't outperformed, but maybe it will, right? This is why I'm continuing to transform the culture just by carving and by integrating. That's why I've got it turned upside down now, and I have the heart, the big heart that I carved in frickin' in the middle of frickin' February of 2020. What is it, 2025 now? Is it 20? I don't even know anymore. I think it's 2025. I think the EROS airdrop happened in February, maybe March, but I think the end of February of 2024. And I remember I had started the Titanx totem, and I had carved the first 3 protocols in. So at the top is Helios, right? Always have given nothing but love and respect to Helios, always. And then after the Helios up top, it's a sun on the top. And then there's the Titanx logo, right? So that the brand of that totem, which also mirrors the inner ethos, which right now is divided and conflicted, but it's okay. Because my job when things are divided and conflicted are to bring things together, right? That's how I roll. That's how I do it. And how I do it is I carve and I speak truth to power, not the truth, my truth. People don't like that. People don't like when I speak my mind. People don't like it. People like me to be the quiet carver, right? People that don't really know me think that I'm the nice, quiet carving guy, okay? And I am. But there's another part of me that you don't want to like get pissed off. I'm just telling you. That's, my son knows it. I'm like a really kind man until I get pissed off. And I got pissed off last night. Not about crypto, not about this. I have, like, right now I have no emotions other than uplift, other than creativity, other than totemic art for, crypto, health, wealth, and mission of service beyond self. That's it. That's all I got. So the culture of Ouroboros is ready to scale. There's strategy, there's math, there's brilliance, and the culture that has been built is, in my judgment, very, very solid. And what you do to scale products and communities is you build the culture from a tight-knit group of people, not just aligned interests. Aligned interest is amazing. So people who have aligned financial interests, but there's a deeper level of aligned values and aspirations, right? And what happens is the top leader calls out those values and aspirations if they're an experienced top leader. If they're either natural or they're experienced at calling out the values and the aspirations that they want to attract. That's the secret sauce of a top leader who can welcome in and call out the values and aspirations of the humans to come into this protocol. That's actually what Shadowy has done. And he was calling out for people. There was a lot of projection onto him when he came out because he was a non and nobody knew who he was. But I was like, a non face, it doesn't matter. I want to look at the code. I don't want to look at the documents. I want to interview the builder, the developer. And he was there in a dialogue. I was like, oh my God, this looks amazing. Can we talk? He was like, yeah, come into my Telegram. I was like, wow. And since then, last April, right? So anyway, that's the culture. Now let me talk about the EROS culture, which is a work in progress. And it grew out of a gift. And then it grew out of a team that left the gift, that left the airdrop, and pulled their Ethereum project and handed me and our community our tight necks back, and then disappeared. Right? So that's the culture. That's how the culture of EROS starts. I'm like, wow, thank you for the PTGC clone. This is me because I knew PTGC. I came from Pulse Chain. I saw the alien tech early. I didn't buy it early, but I saw it. I was like, wow, I like it. I didn't buy it because I was like ready to leave already. I was ready to leave Pulse Chain. I was ready to get back onto Ethereum. But I liked the alien tech and I liked the culture. I could see it. I saw the opportunity when I first heard it on, I think on Shill Tank. I was like, wow, I like that guy's voice. He sounds like experienced. He's got a vision. He knows. Now it's changed a lot since then, but that's amazing, right? But the core vision, the core technology was always there. And the core thing, the culture is PTGC is alien tech. And it takes advantage of the volatility of the market by setting up a killer LP web and a fee sharing platform. That's amazing. That feeds the DAO and the treasury. That's amazing. Okay. And EROS is like, EROS adopted the PTGC culture in that it adopted the code. It's a fork. It's got a little different math. It's got like none of the fee going to a DAO and a treasury. All 5% goes to, it either 2% goes to buy and burn, which is a lot. 2% of every transaction of EROS goes to buy and burn EROS. Almost the number one wallet, where it's going to overtake. The number one wallet is a human holder. The number two wallet is the burn address. And that will probably take over the number one wallet sometime soon. And so the culture of EROS was formed in a gift and then abandoned. And now it's been brought, now I happen to carve it. So it's easy for me to check my wallets and find my EROS and say, oh, I can pull out my carving too at the base of Titan X Totem and finish it up and pretty it up and see what happens with EROS, right? And so that's how EROS fell into my lap. When this guy Peter came and said, hey, Chiz, you want to do EROS? Here's the plan. I was like, I'm open. I'm curious. I've got the totem. Like I can do it, right? And so the culture, just like the PTGC culture, stems from the top leader, and the Ouroboros culture stems from the top leader. Now the EROS culture currently does stem from the current top leader. Now this guy Peter isn't in charge. He's just like any of us. He happens to be the top holder, right? And he happens to be the one who bought high at the, when it first launched because he liked the idea of it. And he happened to be the one that put money into the LP web and then got drained on. And he happened to be the one who was the holder and has been buying all along. And he happened to be the one that came up with the idea to use the EROS protocol that we got gifted to be a vehicle to revive build on Titan X assets by bridging them over and putting them into a new marketplace, Pulse Chain, and participating in that bull run and pairing it with strength, both with Titan X strength. So Titan X is now paired with Titan X and Dragon X and Lotus and Eden and Smoke and Flare and soon Inferno, right? And so yes, this guy, Peter, came up with the idea, and still currently he is the one defining the culture, which is why it is what it is. But increasingly, the more that people like me have a voice, the more that other people from Titan X and from Pulse Chain understand the gift that we received and understand how to use EROS and how to bridge assets into it and how to use dust to get access to EROS, and so the culture, and the reason why I was interested in it is because I was tired of waiting in the bear market for developers. I was tired of waiting for strategy. I was tired. For my bags, I want to work for my bags. I don't want to ask anyone else to do anything. And I found myself like wanting something else happening. And I also found myself wanting to be proactive in migrating probably 10 to 15% of my Ethereum value back to Pulse Chain. And so EROS got delivered to me as an idea. I had the protocol, I received the gift, and then it became the idea of bridge Titan X, use dust to buy EROS on Pulse Chain, pair EROS with Titan X assets and pair EROS with Pulse Chain assets, and we're off to the races. And the culture so far is a combative one. It's I'm going to fight for my bags attitude, which is Peter's attitude, which is why I liked it, because he gave me a fighting mentality of I'm not willing to accept the macroeconomic bear cycle for my Titan X and build on Titan X. I'm not willing to accept how like low they are, right? I just wasn't willing to accept that. And I knew that they were underperforming because of the culture. I knew it. And it was not a culture of diamond hands holders. It was not a culture of we're coming together and fighting for each other and fighting for each other's back. It's not the culture of collaborative communication that I was having in ORX. But nowhere else in tight necks. So EROS is from tight necks community. People don't like to hear that, but it is. And it's a gift that 10,000 of us received. And either we can accept the gift and sell it, or accept the gift and deploy it. Either way is great. Not to accept the gift is fine too, because then there's less supply on the market, right? And then EROS, the culture of fighting for our bags, was needed, and is incredibly helpful. And not everybody likes it, and that's okay. But it's important to be gritty. So EROS is a gritty community culture. So no one's in charge. Everyone's out for one's own bags. But there is an emerging culture of this is a really scarce asset that is deflationary, and every buy and sell is good for holders, lockers, stakers, and for the protocol. And there is an emerging culture of nobody's in charge, but each individual who's a bag holder has a role to play, right? It's this idea of this is the culture. And if people don't like it, it's fine. It's all good. You don't have to work for your bags. You don't have to educate. You don't have to put into LP. This is freedom. This is the culture of freedom, of permissionless. I don't have to ask any developer, any builder, anybody to do what I want to do with EROS. It's like pure DeFi. There was no builder allocation from EROS, none. It was an airdrop, a gift, pure DeFi, fair access. And we're building, and just look at the chart. I don't need to show you the chart. Some people are like, oh, there's not enough liquidity, there's not enough volume. I'm like, exactly, it's early, right? If you understand the token economics and you understand under the hood what's going on, it's in an incredible position that has hit absolute bottom. And if you look around April 1st, the chart started changing. Why did that happen? It's because this EROS plan was delivered to me and to others. That's why. And because Peter instilled a culture of fight for your bags. It can be messy. That's okay. Messy is good, especially in a community initiative that requires humans to take actions. We want humans who have aligned values. Remember the culture thing? Aligned values of diamond heads. Aligned values of we're going to be responsible about getting in and getting out. We're going to educate each other about how everyone who holds EROS can get in responsibly to LP, or can get in responsibly to stake and lock it, or just hold it in your wallet. But the culture is a culture of fight for bags in a competitive environment. The culture is innovation, because even now with a decentralized effort, there's conversation about transforming EROS into EROS X. That's innovation culture, right? That's what I want to see. I want to see that I'm part of something. I want to see in the culture, just like PTGC is a blue chip. It's going to be a blue chip. Mark my words, in 2028 to 2030, just look at what PTGC is then. If Pulse Chain still exists, which I think it will, I'm pretty sure, PTGC will be a blue chip, full on. Ouroboros, between 28 and 30, blue chip. EROS, definitely will survive this bull run, and the bear definitely survive, which most protocols won't. It'll survive. It may decrease in value in the LP web, but particularly if we have a culture of people who stay in the asset because we believe in the long-term potential, and there is a long-term roadmap attached to this PTGC clone that is fully permissionless, right? So the culture of EROS is just emerging. I like it because I can help to shape it, right? Because I understand that what we do with culture. Okay, so that's the EROS culture. So it's forming. We don't know what it's going to be. I mean, literally, it's only 10 weeks old, right? And so it's so early. And that's where the opportunity is. That's why, you know, a, let's say a $300,000 to $500,000 market cap liquidity web. On Deck Screener, it says about $1 million market cap, but that's the max supply. That's 333 billion. I have no idea how many are actually liquid now. Someone needs to write a script to help us to see where the dead wallets are, where the wallets are that aren't waking up and may never wake up, so that gradually we can see how scarce an asset EROS is. Right? And so max supply is probably about $1 million market cap. The actual circulating supply is probably around 50 million, I would say, or 50 billion. Yeah, it's 333 billion max supply. I would say about 50 billion is out there. I think about 20 billion is staked and locked. So that's the culture. So PTGC is blue chip in the making culture and protocol, or EROS is blue chip in the making protocol and culture, and EROS is a culture that is forming fresh. And the aspiration is that it's native to Pulse Chain, and the liquidity web is a healthy integration of Titan-X and Pulse Chain, right? That's the vision, and the vision is transform it at the right time into EROS X, or whatever we want to call it, which is a non-fee, non-tax version of EROS that really gives more scarcity and utility to EROS. It'll buy and burn EROS. It'll buy and burn EROS X, and it'll build the liquidity web, right? So the culture is forming of EROS, but I like it. I like it because I can participate in it. No one tells me what to do. I'm free, right? Today, I'm free. I'm free to, be in EROS. Like free love, baby. EROS is erotica. EROS is, I like feminine EROS. I like the feminine. I'm a guy, but I like women, right? And I like feminine, characteristics, okay? And EROS, how we will rebrand eventually, will be a more mature version of EROS, for sure. We were gifted like a little Cupid. Nobody likes that. But it's fine. It's just sort of like at the right time, someone's going to show up. Like in a decentralized team, someone's going to show up. And it's already happened. I've already started to say, ooh, EROS, actually the grays. Okay, let me just read this. This is actually the grays PTGC is the original and inspired EROS. Yes. From Titan-X to make the bot liquidity web migration over to Pulse Chain. Also, EROS then inspired the Element 280 creation, and even then, the Shogun build from Inkay knows, Mr. Jake Sharp. It really is time to fight for our bags, also time to collaborate, a call to arms. Yeah, man, I agree. 100%. All of those ingredients, Gray's PTGC is the original, and it inspired EROS from Titan X. I'm going to read this again. To make the build on Titan X liquidity web migration over to Pulse Chain. Also, EROS then inspired the Element 280. I don't know. I'd have to ask Dude about that. I'd be interested. Did EROS inspire Element 280, or did something else inspire? But it definitely is a version. It's connected. I think Element 280 has some interesting elements to it. Also, EROS then inspired. Okay, I'll accept that. EROS then inspired, but I'd want to hear from the developer. EROS then inspired the Element 280 creation. And even then, the Shogun build from Inkei knows, from Mr. Jake Sharp. That's an interesting idea, that PTGC and maybe even Atropa inspired Jake and Shogun. Well, I don't know about Atropa, but probably PTGC and Element 280 helped to inspire Jake. But I wouldn't want to speak for Jake either, but I do see the connections between PTGC, Gray Tech, and EROS, and Element 280, and Shogun. And yes, that was a message about collaboration. And yes, even when there is divisions, like we can collaborate around aligned interest, right? Everyone has aligned interest in uplift of the Titan X ecosystem and the Pulse Chain ecosystem. Everyone who's interested in this dialogue right now, other than Ouroboros eventually will come to Pulse Chain, but not now. Ouroboros doesn't need to be on Pulse Chain. Ouroboros has its next destination in mind. And I like that destination. But for most of, in my opinion, most of the bot coins, the build on Titan X coins, I think Pulse Chain is a perfect platform to do two things. One, it things out supply on Ethereum. And so there's a lot of supply in the LPs right now, a lot of build on Titan X, a lot of the supply, because people have been selling, right? It's a bottom. And so people have been selling. And so a lot of those coins are in the LP. And so that's how we've been reviving some coins. We buy low out of the liquidity, right? We buy Lotus, we buy Eden, we buy Flare, we buy lows, bridge, and pair with strength, right? And so EROS, if we look at the chart, EROS is strong. And EROS has a lot of potential, especially if we build a diamond hand holder crew, which is the intent. And when we set the intention and then follow through with actions that are congruent, like it's one thing to say I'm intending to do something, but if the action follows intention, it happens. That's, manifestation, right? It's like, it's the quantum reality, is that it already exists, right? The quantum field is there. We just have to step into it, right? And so, yeah, and so this is actually a call to the quantum field. That's the ultimate collaboration. That's why, yes, I would love for my Shogun to have a home on Pulse Chain. Then I could tell my family and friends that went into Shogun that I have a plan for you guys. Right now, I don't know what the plan is why I've sort of left it. And I thought, all right, I can't think about it. Yes, I could migrate it over, but then it, becomes something else. And I want to follow the migration of value. And so, yeah, but I do believe that all of these technologies, this liquidity web technology, I think comes from the Gray's alien tech. And if it doesn't come from them, then it comes from the quantum field, right? Where all the Solidity developers have been studying and innovating and creating and building and innovating. And so, like, The Gray founder, huge innovator. The EROS team, huge innovators. Just to be able to have identified PTGC. Now, I know how they did it. These were pulse chain guys. I know those guys from way back. They knew PTGC had value, and so they airdropped it at a time when people like me were like, hey, when is the King thing launching? When is that launching? When launch? When launch? Mark was the nice guy, the front guy that said, here, take EROS. I was like, thank you. I'll carve it, right? And yeah, so the EROS team was innovators. Even though they left, it didn't work out. I don't know what happened. There were probably bugs. There was probably, I don't know what happened. I'm okay not knowing. I got a gift and I'm willing to accept it, and it's an innovation. Who else? Yeah, dude, Element 280 is an innovation. Wherever it comes from is an innovation. And that protocol is unique in that everything that ecosystem, which stems from Helios, is why I do believe in the Helios ecosystem. It's why it's like the top sun on the Titan-X totem, right? Is because the culture of Helios is special and unique also. And it reflects the top leader, the dev, the builder, dude. And from the beginning, that is a long-term intentionality and actions. And in order to hold Helios and E280 and in order to be a holder there, I think we need to understand the culture that mirrors, in this case, dude, and how he put his heart and his soul and his intentionality and his actions. So he's the one developer builder who I'm okay having 12 projects with, honestly. He's the one. Like, it's not my style because I like a unity of focus, but what I like is everything goes back to, there is a unity of focus. It all goes back to enhancing the Helios DAO and treasury, everything. Janos on Pulse Chain, even though that has also struggled with EROS, it struggled at the same time. I get it. I saw it happen. I saw that happen, and I get that that was a struggle. But as a Helios holder and as someone that sort of was a day one Helios minter, and I still hold that, right? What I like about it is I don't even think about it. It's a long-term thing, and everything, all the 280, all of the, I can't even keep track of all the Uranus, all the everything that's going everywhere, all goes back to the Helios DAO and treasury. So it is a unity of focus in that way, and I really like it. And so I do think that's the Element 280 innovation, is that it's the liquidity web, but it's also connected to a treasury and a DAO. And I heard dudes say it's ready to go, not just omni-chain, but multi-chain. And probably waiting for the X28 bridge. But I think it can do it. It just can't pair with X28 unless the X28 bridge is open. But I think, like, what I like is Dude and James are not waiting. They're just doing it. Right? So anyway, and that's where I do think that we all need to collaborate. If we say we're in this Titan-X ecosystem, now the Titan-X ecosystem is on Ethereum, it's on Base, it's on Pulse Chain, and it's about to migrate to Sonic and to Binance Smart Chain, I've heard, and others, right? And so, like, it's time that we overcome whatever historic stuff there is and start to uplift Every single protocol. The reason why I like EROS, and I know people hate it, but the love hate is perfect. Love hate. I've got a carving for love hate. It's a great one. I'm very comfortable with the love hate dynamic. It's yin and yang. We need both. They're both there. And maturity is being able to, to be with both. And that's where we get into the infinity loop, right? The quantum reality. So where was I? I got this. Oh, innovation and collaboration. Innovation requires collaboration. There can be solo innovators for sure. Those are inventors. But innovation is a collective effort because invention is a new. It can be an iterative invention, but an invention is something fresh and new. And that's why PTGC is fresh and new. Okay. Element 280 is fresh and new. These are, yes, it's like hip hop. You sort of take, it's like jazz. You take the original and then you improvise and you innovate on it, right? Element 280 is an innovation. It's an invention and an innovation. Shogun is an innovation and an invention. I just don't see it yet. I know Jake has a vision. I know it. There's no way that he's letting that, but I don't see it. And the people who I invested on behalf are like lost along with me. And so it is what it is. I don't pay attention to it right now just because it's not worth the energy and I'm just in a holding pattern. And that's why I do think that I think Shogun on Pulse Chain would be hot, but it would require a commitment from the developer to migrate the contracts. It's not like migrating the value because it goes from a tax fee token, 8% is Shogun, 8% in, and that's a big fee. You need price differentials, you need volatility, which is why I think on Pulse Chain, it would be, way more active with the bots, than we are right now. And yeah, anyway, I don't want to get distracted by Shogun, but I do believe that it is time for all the developers, anybody that has built and developed around Titanx, to collaborate on uplift, to collaborate on reviving holders' bags. A lot of people are feeling wrecked, and including builders and developers, right? A lot. And so when people are feeling wrecked, it's really hard to get out of apathy, right? And so, okay. So now I want to talk about culture, rules, strategy always, and I want to talk about pDAI and Bear. I've been going over. This is probably too long, but I'm going to keep on doing it because I'm free today. I don't have any freaking clients calling me. I love clients because, when they call me, it's good. It's good. I like it, but I also like when I have a day free. And my son is probably sleeping late today, right? And so I'm free until he comes and grabs me. Okay. So I've done PTGC, ORX, and EROS culture, rules, strategy always. And math. People don't believe it until it happens, but it's true. It's my truth. I've seen it over and over again. Okay, let's talk about pDAI and Bear. The culture, rules, strategy always. So first of all, I have no idea what's going on with pDAI. None. And it's hit its bottom as a speculative asset. I haven't bought a lot of it, but I bought originally the first week that pDAI was a thing. I bought it just because I liked the narrative. The narrative is, it's a it's the ultimate, it's one of the ultimate reflections of Richard Hart's vision for Pulse Chain. The vision is a full system state copy of Ethereum that basically automatically creates a mirror image. It's the ERC20 turns into PRC20. So pDAI, if I was holding DAI, which I was, I got like a few pDAI, right? If I was holding DAI, it got mirrored over. I was holding hex, I got a hex, I got a P hex and an E hex, right? I got a mirror image. So pDAI, right? DAI is a stable coin. It's now Sky Protocol. It's, what is it? USDS. I think it's the number 3 stable coin now, right? It's Sky Protocol. It's MakerDAO has rebranded, right? And pDAI, the culture is wacky. It's wacky. Look at the chart. It's wacky. Bear. I love Bear, but let's stay with pDAI because the culture is uncertain. And there's rumors, right, that there is a pegging happening. I have no idea, but it's leading to speculation, increasing speculation. And there's rumors, if one listens to the Pulse Chain community, which I do, I've started again. I listen and I learn and I research. Remember, I'm like a cultural anthropologist. I'm looking for the gems. I'm looking for and I really like the Atropa ecosystem. I like the idea of it. I don't like how the developer has been communicating, but I also don't like how Richard Hart has been communicating. But I understand the smoke screen that both of them are putting up. I get it, but I don't like it. But I'm interested in it, and it has a narrative pull and a price pull. Atropa, is going to be a dominant asset, I think, but the culture is totally uncertain. pDAI, it could peg at $1 or it may not. That's the culture. I have no idea. No one's in charge until we see who the central actor or actors are. Like there's rumors, there's a huge Bitcoin wallet that has been dormant since I think 2014 that just, has 10 billion. I don't even know. I don't even want to know how many Bitcoin it is, but a lot of Bitcoin just woke up. And I saw, it's going to be a dumper. Well, I don't know. The rumors are it's maybe Richard Hart's wallet, right? And maybe he is going to use some of his own assets to back pDAI. I'm like, I have no idea. I don't know. There's rumors that Binance has, validator nodes on Pulse Chain. There's rumors that Richard Hart wouldn't pay for central listings. And especially when the SEC was suing Pulse Chain and Pulse X and Hex and Richard Hart, like no one wanted to touch it. But there's rumors that Binance owns validator nodes and has been, in essence, making Pulse. I have no idea. There's rumors that, Binance is going, is part of some Hyperloop, narrative that's going to, be part of pegging pDAI to $1. I have no idea. So the culture of pDAI, and I'll talk about Bear in a second, is all speculative. It's speculative culture until I see some movement to it's really a stable asset and it's really permissionless and it's really decentralized and it's really functioning. It's all speculation. As a speculative play, I like pDAI a lot. I wouldn't personally put a lot of money in, but I put $500 in about the same time that I started to be interested in EROS. About a few weeks after I started buying EROS, I started buying pDAI, right? And I've done very well, right? Because it's rebounded from its bottom. I didn't buy the bottom, but I bought close because I like buying blood of assets that I think have speculative potential or blue chip potential. Like blue chips, you can speculate on also, but a blue chip means that the fundamentals are sound, it's sustainable beyond one cycle, and it's really an esteemed protocol or platform or community. Something is highly esteemed about in terms of value and sustainability. So pDAI, the culture is, I don't know what the strategy is. I have no idea what the math is. And so that's why the culture of speculation rules right now. And I like it because I'm not attached to pDAI going to $1, but if it does, I'm going to do really well. And even if it doesn't, I'm going to do really well because I bought at the bottom and I've got it paired with EROS. The EROS pDAI pair is going to be hot, just like the EROS bear pair is going to be hot. So the culture of pDAI is speculative, and it's ruling right now, and it's hot right now. And depending on who the holders are and what the strategy is and what the culture of, is it really a stable coin culture or is it just a speculative asset? I think we'll know in the next 60 days. I mean, I think we might know sooner than that, but I would say within 60 days, I'll know. And so I'll report back. Bear. And this is, oh man. See, this is why like carving's not easy, man. I've been carving for like 3 hours already today. Like, this is why for me, if I don't do martial arts along with my carving, or not just martial arts, but a martial arts type practice, if I don't do that, my body is like hurting. Now, I did it this morning for a little bit, but I'm going to have to do a lot later, right? And I have to drink liquids. This is why I'm always like when I'm carving, and it's a lot, man. It's just sort of like, think about if you're at your computer 12 hours a day and your neck and how it hurts. It's like similar. It's just my whole body is like that. It's like, okay, Bear Dragon X. Okay. Let's see. We've got someone talk about Bear Dragon X. Okay. Dragon X EROS and Bear EROS. Oh, are my largest LP pools created on Pulse Chain? Yeah. Listen up. Everyone is welcome to join me and add to this liquidity. We might even get whales buying our Dragon X and Titan X coins on Pulse Chain if we migrate enough supply. Okay. So this is, look, this is my friend Peter. Now he's out giving me ideas here, and he lets his tokens speak for themselves. And so what we see is he says Bear Dragon X EROS, and Bear EROS are his largest LP pools created on Pulse Chain. Everyone is welcome to join him and add to this liquidity. Okay, I'll tell you where I didn't even think about Bear Dragon X. I am heavy into Bear EROS. I own, I think, 50% of that pool or something, or I don't even know. I don't want to brag. It's not like huge, but it's like, right? I like that because I love Bear and I love EROS. And Dragon X, Dragon X EROS, I like a lot. Bear Dragon X, I never even thought of. But the beauty of Bear Dragon X has a big buy and burn, has a lot of value relative to the market cap tied up. And if it's utilized wisely, it's going to be amazing. Or I'll say when it's utilized wisely, it'll be amazing. And the value of migrating, and I've done this, I have migrated Dragon X to Pulse Chain, right? And put it into pair with Titan X and with Pulse Chain. I didn't put it into pair yet with EROS or Bear, but I might consider it now that I know that Peter is deepening those pools. And I also know that this is a character that's going to work for his bags day in and day out. Every day since I met him, he's like working for his bags every single day. And it doesn't matter if I like or I don't like the work. It's all work. It's just like me. I'm like, people can love and hate. It's all good. It's being positive with what we have to offer. So what I can tell you is that this is an experienced whale in the Titan X ecosystem that really has come up with an idea that is about reviving a lot of his build on Titan X bags, right? He holds a lot of tokens of a lot of projects on Titan X, which is why I'm always stunned that people don't really pay attention. Or maybe they do and they just, aren't studying enough or like listening deeply and just like paying attention to the external messaging. Sometimes we need to look beneath the brand and listen for the intelligence. So, yeah, I think that Dragon X and EROS are a great pair. I think Dragon X and Bear are a great pair. Let me talk about Bear for a second. So Bear is a meme, but it also has a utility, and I'm learning about it. Now, I bought Bear at the same time when I bought Atropa and pDAI a long time ago when it first came out, and I did really well. I didn't really understand the ecosystem. I didn't understand it. I just liked that there was something that I could do with my Pulse chain as opposed to watching it go down. It gave me a speculative something to learn about and invest in. This is my puppy. This is Kobe. Yeah, this is Kobe's nose. He's the sweetest guy. Yeah, he's such a good friend, man. He's a really good watchdog too. You don't mess with this guy, man. Yeah. He's a killer too. He kills rabbits. I'm like, oh, there's a lot of rabbits around. He chases fox. He chases deer. I saw it when he was very little. Kobe got chased by a big black bear, and I had to intervene. I don't think, well, actually, he probably would have caught him. I saw him back up there. He was like a big black bear was chasing Kobe. Kobe is young. He was like probably 6 months old. And I saw the black bear chasing him around a tree. And I was like, oh, man. So all I did was get big. I made some noise, and the black bear jumped over ran. Big bear ran fast and hard. Anyway, okay, Bear. So I bought Bear, and then I sold it. I kept a moon bag. I keep a moon bag, and that's what I'm pairing with EROS. And I bought a little bit more Bear and bought some more pDAI. So, and I really came back to Bear and Atropa because of EROS. Because this guy Peter said, hey, I believe in the speculative play of Pulse Chain and Atropa, and I particularly like Bear. I'm like, cool. I love Bear, right? You see the aligned interests? That's why I was willing to listen. He was like, oh, I like Bear. He came as the teddy bear, the EROS teddy bear God King. He told me I'll change. I'm just gonna listen. And so right now he's called EROS, all Titanx coins on Pulse Chain. That's mission accomplished. Every single Titanx coin is on Pulse Chain. That's mission accomplished. Now it's about migrating value, aligned interests. People who have Titanx, build on Titanx coins, we're all free to migrate to hold our coins. I don't have to sell them. Like, this has been a problem between Titanx and Pulse Chain, but this is solving the problem. We don't have to sell our assets. We can hold them, we bridge them, we hold them, and we pair them with strength, with Pulse Chain assets. So bear, I've always loved the teddy bear. I've always loved the idea that maybe this is in honor of like Richard Hart's like teddy bear, right? That's in his thing, right? I've always liked that. I like the teddy bear meme. I love bears. I'm like into it, right? And it's got utility. The utility is, I don't fully understand it. I've been asking questions, and I was in, I'm in a dialogue with some Atropa heads, people that are Atropa insiders, and everyone over there is really studying, trying to figure out what the hell's going on. And one of the things is that bear, and I always knew this, I knew that bear in the developers' mycelial design, the biomimicry design, I knew that bear was important in the treasury system that I think is being built in the Atropa web. I don't understand exactly how it works, but bear is a cap supply. It can be burned, but it can't be minted anymore. Now, verify that, but this is what I understand. It's a cap supply. You can buy and burn it. Can't be minted anymore. And at least conceptually, it's backing treasury bill. I don't know exactly what that means. I've heard different things. I'll just say that in the bear narrative, it's got a meme, which I like, and in an emerging treasury, decentralized mycelial Atropa ecosystem that I like. I like that idea. Bear has a prominent role as a backing asset, as a central asset that's connecting a lot of the Atropa web and backing treasury bill, which somehow is going to be connected to pDAI and the rest of the ecosystem. We will see. And this is where it's all speculation, but I like it. For a bull run, speculation is what's important, and memes are important. So bear is OG bear. And what I like about it also is, and I've learned this, I've learned to look under the hood and understand what are heavy tokens, where there's a lot of heavy holders and people wanting to take profits and needing to dump on newcomers, right? Bear is not one of those. Bear is light. It's like, if you look at its chart, it hit a hard bottom. Now I think the market cap is about a $10 million, $11 million market cap. And as a narrative, bear really could be the OG meme. So $1 billion bear, especially if it's a meme with utility in the Atropa ecosystem, is easy, right? It's not that it's going to happen right away or it's going to happen this cycle. No, it's that as a speculative play, it's bottomed out. True believers are still holding on to their bear. People like me or who love bear are buying a little bear, right? And so the culture of bear is amazing. It's totally decentralized. I don't understand it. It is conflictual because it was divided. Like, people are like, oh, I don't like Maria the Dev, who developed, you know, and so like influencers said, oh, it's a scam. Oh, you know, once I hear people saying it's a scam, I'm like, yeah, that's a projection. Almost always. Now, sometimes it's true, but almost always when someone's saying it's a scam, it's a projection, right? Unless I have done all the research and know that it's a scam, almost always when I see the finger pointed, it's a scam. That's a projection. That's a scammer projecting the inner scammer. It's not that like you can't call out scams, but it's way too easy to call almost anything a scam or anyone a scammer. And a lot of times people that get targeted as a scammer then, you know, react by saying you're a scammer. And so that was done in the Atropa situation. And I don't know what happened. I do know that there was value extracted. And I do know that there's uncertainty about it, but I don't know what's going on. I suspect that the Atropa dev is in a decentralized, coordinated effort with the Pulse Chain core developer team at somehow integrating the mycelial biomimicry design of Atropa with Pulse Chain and with the pDAI ecosystem. And I think we'll see over the next few months or weeks, we're going to see more about, is pDAI, are there central actors that are, you know, going for the peg with pDAI? Is that a thing, or is it all speculation? I have no idea. And I think we'll also start to see more insight into how the Atropa ecosystem is emerging, is going to emerge in a bull market, right? For me, there's too much uncertainty under the hood of Atropa to really invest a huge amount of time, energy, and money. But I really love these speculative plays like Bear, like Treasury Bill. Like, I think pDAI is independent, but it's connected somehow. All right, anything else other than Dragon X EROS? Yeah, man. I mean, look, I would say anybody that is a Dragon X holder might want to consider it. Or not. You have to be, in order to do this, you have to want exposure on Pulse Chain. And you have to want exposure to, in this case, Bear and or EROS. If you don't want exposure to Bear or EROS on Pulse Chain, you could bridge over and pair with Titan X. You could bridge over your Dragon X and pair with Lotus. You could bridge over anything. You just look at the web and you see where there's a community of people wanting to build a deep liquidity pool, right? I'm in conversations with other people on Pulse Chain that have Titan X assets. And we're talking about what pairs should we make deep. This kind of collaboration needs to happen only for people that have an interest in migrating value. If you want to migrate value to places other than Pulse Chain, be my guest, be free. Everyone's free. Go be free, right? I'm free. I'm free. When I first started talking about EROS, my Ouroboros community was like, no, don't do it. I'm like, please, I carved them. This is Ouroboros, right? This is the beginning. Okay, this right here is the ultimate Ouroboros, right up there. See that? You may not realize it, but that's the two-eyed Ouroboros head. And up here, you may not like it, right? May not like it, but Here, I'll show you the tight next totem now. This is proof, right? Beyond a reasonable doubt. Okay, you see X28? I even freaking carved X28. See that? Ooh, see? X28. Shogun. Want to see Shogun? Yep, this is Shogun right here. That's Shogun. Right? I only carve things that I want to grow. Here, let me show you Dragon X. This is Dragon X. Right? Yeah. People said I was spreading FUD. I'm like, dude, you have no idea. I carved it, bro. I just like speaking truth to power. That's me. So that's Dragon X. This is, you want to see Titan X? This is Titan X. See? See the logo? Wow. See the logo? This is Titan X. See EROS? This is EROS. I don't fuck around, man. People like fuck around. Right? I've got bear too, by the way. I carved bear. I have one of my favorite carvings. I have a it's a great carving. It's called Matisse Woman, and it's a Rasta. It's a Rasta Matisse Woman, and there's a guardian killer bear in it, right? And the guardian killer bear totem, don't mess with it, okay? I'm telling you, the guardian killer bear totem has toad venom in it. It has all kinds of wacky stuff that protects and uplifts. All right. Anything else? Anyone out there? I gotta go, or I'm going to go. I've been doing this for a long time. An hour and 45 minutes. That's crazy, man. There were times where I never said a word for years, right? And so talking is relatively new for me. That's part of the reason why I'm doing it, because I spent many years not talking. Peter, anything else? You still there? Anyone else? Yeah, I really want to do a stream with Smooth and Crypto. Smooth is the founder builder of Flare. And I know Flare has bridged over, and I really want to dialogue with Smooth. First of all, I think he's really cool. I don't know him personally, but I like him just from a distance. And he's just like I don't know, I just like his style. And I like the style of Flare. And Flare launched at a rough time in the market. And I think that, first of all, I like how scarce the asset is. And I know he's smart and is building a future for his protocol. I know it. And he's also a really good educator and potentially promoter. And so I'd like to think about how we collaborate, not just with Flare, but I like Flare because it's got flair. And I also think that in the EROS web, it would be really strong. And I also think that if there was a really strong EROS Flare pair, we could really attract newcomers. I really do. I think we could attract newcomers from Ethereum and Base and Pulse Chain. I believe that about Smoke too. Smoke is another one. Smoke is like, I really like, we've got that pair, but I want to talk to Rich about how do we deepen that pair and how do we make Smoke a magnet too? Because Smoke started as a fee token on base. And then the builder, Rich, transformed it into, so there's OG Smoke, which is a fee token, and then there's Smoke, which is now on Ethereum and on Pulse Chain and is not a fee token. I also like that brand and culture, partially because it's like a capped scarce supply meme that, especially when paired with strength on Pulse Chain, I think can fly. So those are like two cap supply rare tokens that are memes, like Lil Blunt from Smoke. Like, I like Zara. Zara is like, I think, the mascot. But Zara is the mascot for the Smoke Web, which is Lotus, Eden, Shao, Smoke, and anything else that Rich Landon is building on Pulse Chain. So yeah, so those are two that I think that, at least memes, that I would find fun talking about, and I think that we could attract people to those LP pairs, because that's what we want. We want to, it's a culture of community LP web building, and that means let's have LP pairs that we like, and let's build depth so that, that those pairs people can get in and out of. And then, like, for leverage on leverage on leverage on leverage, these low liquidity cap supply, particularly in a pair with a vibrant LP web that's constantly getting new buyers, that's the key, right? The key for any crypto success, other than culture, is more, and this is a piece of the culture, is more buyers than sellers, right? That's the bottom line. All right. I'm free, so I'm gonna go hang out with my son for a little bit. I'm gonna come back and carve. And so when I carve, certain things come into my mind, and that's when I'm gonna stop and start doing this. So anybody that's been hanging out with me, thank you for having patience with me. And peace out, y'all. Anything else? Okay. Have a great day. Be free. Live long and prosper.